Hello and welcome to Snack Play Love. I haven't had my computer for a few days, and in the meantime the quick draft has ended and turned into War of the Spark, which we're slightly less interested in, but at least we managed to get 3 games down from a quick draft before it disappeared. Unfortunate timing, but it is what it is. But that does mean that now we have no quick and easy way to convert 500 coins into a draft. We can oh, we don't want to do trad draft, jeez. Where's Premier Draft? There we go. We try when we've got 10,000, which we're not going to have for a little while, and there are a lot of events that require coins to enter, or it's more efficient to enter in coins, so we'll probably just stick to using gems and hoping to hit sort of this soft midpoint to see what happens. But in the meantime, we've got packs. Now I've been holding off 41 in fact, opening these purely because I wanted to do a bit more drafting and I wanted to see what I could open in those before we moved in here. We've done 8 drafts, 2 quick drafts I think, so let's just start opening some packs. I'm going to open as singles to start with. I know that might annoy some people, but we haven't seen all the cards that often. It doesn't seem to have the trackers on that tell you fees and you. Hey, Fiend Artisan, that's pretty good. Hang on, I've got an idea. So, I just popped into the room where the magic happens in my house, and I picked up some real boosters. Oh, Cat's coming to see us as well. I'll work her up at the same time. And God, if I can learn when the camera is on this computer. We've got some Theros boosters. Now, I'm not going to say these are useless to me, but usually what I do is I pay in 5 boosters into a draft, and then I'd win maybe 1 or 2 back, and we'd keep going, and we would use the packs. But as it stands, I'm not really doing that, because we're not leaving the house. And seeing as we've opened a Mythic, I think every time we open a Mythic, we are going to open a pack of Theros Beyond Death, because then I will get through them. I might slide them back into the packs so that you can use them for casual play and stuff, but let's do it. So, kind of trying to learn where the camera is. It hasn't moved since the computer's been into the shop, but there we go. So, I'm going to look at the camera version as well. So we've got the Sweet Lands, and we have Tectonic Giants. Now, I've been using that in the Elementals decks on Arena because its attack trigger and its target trigger are both fantastic. It says, whenever it attacks or becomes a target of a spell an opponent controls, choose 1. Either deal 3 damage to each opponent, good in multiplayer, or exile the top 2 cards. You can choose one of them, and until the end of your next turn, you can play it. Because there's no alt arts or anything, those are my 3 uncommons. Vanishing Light's reasonable, and I don't think there's anything exciting in the commons. Oh, Witness of Tomorrow. But yeah, okay, let's get back to the virtual cards. And again, I think we'll just open them in singles. I might open a couple of 10s near the end. We'll see how it goes. So that's a regular rare. We have got more Huntmaster Ligers. It's the uncommons I'm weirdly short of. Hey, Lutri the Spell Chaser. That's my first copy of that. There we go, it does tell you. I do want at least one of all the companions. One of the reasons for doing this now is that there are a couple of those sort of cards that I actually quite fancy that I'd rather not craft. I mean, you don't use wild cards on singletons. Wild cards we have. Wild cards for days. But again, you don't want to craft all the uncommons and commons in a set, do you, Dom? But, well, we'll see. Chittering Harvester, that's nice. Sacrifice thing, that can go in the mutate deck. That's just been banned in some formats. Opponents can't cast spells from anywhere other than their hands. In Commander, that's a bit cruel. So our wheels are popping. Back for more. Absolutely love that in draft. We've had a couple of basically free wins with that. That Triome isn't that pretty, but it will automatically turn into the pretty version because we bought the styles, unlike in the real world where that does not happen. More Sprite Dragon things. We haven't got the... hey, see, does that count? I think that counts. So, whoops. Yay. I actually moved the little camera thing, so it's pointing at the right direction now. I've held on to these for not too long, but for a while. So, oh, we have a foil rare. We have a Woe Strider. For those of you who didn't really play much Theros, it makes a 0/1 goat white token. I'm distracted by the cat. You might be able to hear in the background. Sack a creature Sky 1 and you can escape cost it to get it back. It's really good in the X-Men deck that I've built. I actually need more copies of that on Arena. My regular rare is Labyrinth of Skopos, which is essentially a really powered down version of an old card. You tap it and pay 4 to remove attacking creatures from combat, which is fine, but I don't think anybody's really broken it yet. Nobody's found a massive way to abuse it in any of the formats we've had at the moment. But it does stop one giant mutate creature from swinging each turn. Okay. So we've got 2 crystals. We've got a rare wild card. Ah, the Mythos. I think that's a very good card. There's some fantastically funny decks that use it to copy things that you wouldn't expect it to be able to copy. And because it isn't a creature, if you're doing it in the Luca deck, then it won't accidentally get found as one of your triggers. So you can keep copying your agents forever. Good one. That's another good one. That's one I actually wanted. That goes in the cycling style decks. You can just keep cycling it for value. It goes back into your deck, so you don't lose a card, but the 4th time you manage to do it, you do get the 8/8 creature. Ultimatums are always good. That's not a very interesting one though. This is the problem. I could have picked some of these terrible rares up in draft, but I've been passing them. That is not a terrible rare, that is a mythic. Snapbacks. Mutate 4 damage to target creature or planeswalker an opponent controls and you gain 4 life. I'm pretty sure I have the card star for that, but I hadn't got any copies of the card, so that is a good one to get. I'm confused by the fact that the little camera is reversed, so I keep moving everything the wrong way. Oh, it's Liliana. So, oh, Nightmare Shepherd. Now, I play with that a lot, but I don't actually know whether I've got any in paper. I say, apart from the pre-release, I really didn't open any packs, which is why I got 7 or whatever it was sitting around. This is all prizes from one pre-release. Uncommons. Mystic Reprisal. Mystic Repeal. Cling to Dust, again, I play that. That's a good one-of in decks, just to exile cards, draw cards. It means you can continue to eat your deck to keep drawing cards, but I'll slide those ones straight back in. Keeps them out of the way, means the cat doesn't knock them all over the floor. But yeah, Snapbacks is definitely something we wanted to open. Can't believe I hadn't got any of those before, but that's true. I didn't take any of them in draft. It's just that little bit too expensive, but if you've got a way to cheat it out, then it's fab. Dirgebat, on the other hand, is first pickable in draft, and I think it's a playset of those on the way from Czechoslovakia of all places, with the alt art for about 50 cents each. 50 euro cents that is, but that's about the dollar at the moment. Slightly, it's about 40p in UK money. Eerie Ultimatum is the one I did want, returning the deck of singletons, so you basically play a literary style deck, returning any number of permanents that you want to the battlefield, and basically you can return your whole deck in a self-mill build. And we all know that I like the self-mill. Another Reptilian Reflection. I should have been looking at this actually, shouldn't I? 117. It was about 101 when we started. This again is something that I wanted to play with but couldn't be asked to craft. Say, you know, you've got 25 shots at crafting. You don't want to craft all of the good but situational rares. They go in one deck sort of thing. More Triomes. Always going to be happy with those. That was Ketria. We've got a lot of those. I wouldn't be surprised if that's our... When do you know it can't be our 5th, can it? That must be 4th. I got that in my sealed pool. I drafted with it at least twice. Once as the companion, once as just an extra card. Zagoth Triome, also known as Sultai Triome. The fact we've got extra names for everything now upsets me, but mainly because I'm very bad at remembering anything. As my friends know, I basically describe the cards. We've already had a Huntmaster Liger. Yes! the mythos of the best art. Now, I've had to pass that a couple of times. Once I took it just to make the deck have a pretty cover, but that is probably the playmat that I'm going to select when I finally get around to locking down my Seb McKinnon order tonight. I've got to do that before the time expires, otherwise they won't know what to send me. Extinction Event, it's a fine card. There's a couple of decks that are using it to great effect to wipe the board. It's fascinating because most of the time people either have a ridiculous amount of creatures or just one or two. More triomes. I mean, I should be more upset than I am, but that's fine. Those are wild cards waiting to happen, so it's almost like every pack here has a thing in it that I was going to craft at some point. I did not know Winota was a mythic rare. That got banned today as well. Only in Brawl, but it's a fairly oppressive card when you can deliberately only cast it when you've got the swing on board. But that gives us another pack. We've got 3 after this. Crackety crack. I do miss the rustle of opening packs. I feel like I should be showing you first. Oh dear, it's Dream Trawler. That feels like it should be a fairly expensive card. If you've not played against that yet, flying lifelink, whenever you draw it gets points to attack. Whenever it attacks you draw a card, so it attacks as a 4/5, blocks as a 3/5, and you can discard a card to give it hexproof, which also taps it. Nothing really in the rest of the pack for commons and uncommons and things. But again, I think if we had a normal powered standard, then that card would be ridiculously broken and everybody would be complaining about it. As it stands, there's quite a lot of blue-white players enjoying playing with it, and it closes the game out. So if you manage to get to the point where the control player is usually durdling around, it finishes you off, you can move on to the next game. More flash cards are good. I want to build the flash deck at some point, just because, well, A, it's a bit memes, but it is also very fun. The idea of flashing in sharks and so on and so forth does appeal to me. Another mythos. That's a contender for the playmat, actually. There's a lot more emotion on that art than the evil boy eating people, but as it's a playmat for home, not for the hospital, it doesn't really matter. I can get away with a lot more on my own desk than I can in a hospital. First one of those, I think. Yep. Haven't got Fighty Ape. It's very good. It does stuff. It costs too much, and it means, well, I think they intended it to be in a mostly monocolour decks, like green with a splash of red. But the way the mana's worked out, you can basically play it in a 3-colour deck with green, and you can reanimate it, and you can do this and that with it. It's fine. Now, almost lost to a Song of Creation deck earlier today. I hadn't really appreciated that casting a spell draws you 2 cards. It's essentially a very good way to just keep chaining out. I think you're supposed to have a way to start the process every single turn, because my opponent essentially one turn didn't really get it going, and then the next turn sat there comboing against himself because I put so many blockers out with a mutate spell. Mutating 10 power of creatures onto the battlefield every turn is pretty fine, to be honest. But, hey, this is a good one. The Fact or Fiction Ultimatum. You choose 3, they choose 2, you get them for free. But obviously you've paid 7 mana to get that anyway, so it's more about the card selection and the hunting than the inevitability of it. But I saw somebody play with the 8 mana Saga that gives you an 8/8 hexproof thing straight away. And we're straight into another Mythic. I'm going to run out of packs at this point. I didn't think that would happen. But maybe I shouldn't have opened on the wild card. Narset of the Ancient Way. Oh. I played against Narset a lot, but this is the first one I've had, so I've not really seen it. That's pretty. I forgot that you could get these. So we've got a Constellation foil. Not even seen that one before. I mean, I've seen the card, but not the foil version. And we have Haktos the Unscarred. If we open this in sealed, we would definitely be playing the red deck. Yeah, red-white deck. There we go. And the Explore. This is the guy that has protection from everything apart from 2, 3 or 4 based on a random dice roll. It's a very weird card. It's a more interesting way of doing the Boros protection thing, so I heartily approve of it. But if I end up building that Winona deck, as I want to call it, then I'm sure it will go in there. Nice, it's a lot of fun. Not, here we go. I didn't mean to kill her. Never mind. On to the next one. Ah, there we go. That's a companion that I wanted. This goes in the stupid mutate deck that I've been playing, and makes everything one cheaper, which is very good. I can put more in the deck though, can't I? It's legendary, so you can't have more than one on the battlefield at a time, but I can keep getting it back out the graveyard anyway, so it's not really a big problem. Hey, Fiend Artisan number 2. Only got 2 packs left, so I'm going to leave those for the moment. I'll just open those at the end. I'm going to open 10 for the last 10, because we've seen all these commons and uncommons now, really. It's not like we're getting the alt arts come up. Primal Empathy has won me so many draft games. That was a hilarious deck. The problem was trying not to deck yourself. An extra Cub Warden is amazing. This is probably the most powerful mutate card that people haven't spotted yet. Giving your mutator lifelink is fine, but you're putting out 2 more bodies to mutate onto, and the red-white mutate cards just want to boost the power of all of your things, and that is a very good strategy in limited and in constructed. We've got that one. Vigilance, Cat, Elemental, Nightmare, Dinosaur, Beast. It's fine. I mean, you can put as much stuff in you like that isn't those creatures, but there's so many tacked on creature types just to make that one work. The Lizard Beast and things like that. That Nightmare. Monkeys can't play. It's not a bad deck. It just means you can't have any humans. I mean, it's more interesting than non-human though. I have to admit that. Jubilant Skybond. Haunted Nightmare as well. That's a fabulous deck in limited. It's very much put all the Death Touch, Lifelink, Menace onto all your creatures and play with that. Okay, so I'm going to open 10 and then I'll open the 2 physical packs at the end, no matter what happens. I do like this. Hey, see, there we go. We got our 2 mythics anyway. So, second Song of Creation, another Sabai Triome, but our first Chevel. Death Touch and Booty counters, which are so hilarious. We can kill things that have a bounty on them, and then we get coconutty goodness of 3 life and drawing a card. Luna is standing on the cards, which we have opened, because that's what cats do. Colossification's fun. I think I took that really late in the draft. Trample Lord is absolutely amazing. We probably didn't need a second Lutri ever. Should have turned that off, you know. Click the button that says stop giving me this card. This is whatever mythic we want. And that's the final stats. 29 rares, 21 mythic rares, a bunch of commons and uncommons, and essentially 15%, maybe slightly more on the Vault Progress, which doesn't feel that much from 40 packs. It shows how little of this set I'd opened so far. I didn't want this to hit 20 minutes, so I'm just going to do these relatively quickly and shut up. We did get 1 more mythic than we got packs, which I thought was likely. Forest! And, oh, Tyromet Calls the Dead. This is basically a wall of text that says, put some things into your graveyard, some of them become zombies. And then you gain X, where X is the number of things in the graveyard. No, number of zombies you control. I've got the card in my hand, I should be able to read it. I'll say there's a couple of notable commons that you take, like Cetesian Training draws you a card. Farika's Libation, which basically says you must now sacrifice your own enchantments, which is fine unless you're playing against an enchantments deck, or if they've only got 1 creature because of the mutants. He's really crinkle on the mic, I haven't really spotted that. You won't be able to hear what I'm saying, will you? In fact, I don't think I checked the sound on those test videos I did. And to finish, we have an Archon of Sun's Grace, which is Pegasus creatures you control have lifelink. Whenever an enchantment enters the battlefield under you control, create a 2/2 white lifelink Pegasus. Actually a pretty good card. Some other things I've seen in constructed in here, which is fine for me. not so good for you, but commons and uncommons are a little bit boring to mess about with opening on the stream. Let me know what you thought of that. I've got hundreds of booster packs in the other room from older sets that I'll probably never get around to opening. We've got sort of the ones with fetch lands in, and I never really bothered doing the box opening thing much, but if you want me to open them when I'm opening arena packs, then let me know in the comments. Otherwise, thank you for watching, and goodbye.